Hello, this is Mr. Gregorich with Unit 2 Measurement, Lesson 5, Video 1. And in this video, we're going to start talking about dimensional analysis. And on top of this, I want you to put used to convert between systems of measurement. So this is a tool that we can use to convert between a metric system and our system of measurement. And that is dimensional analysis. This is a system or method used for conversion. Sometimes it's also called the factor label method because we use unit multipliers or a conversion factor in order to do this. Sometimes these conversion factors are called equivalency statements. And that would be a ratio of two measurements that is equal to 1. So on the back of your metric units and conversion sheet, you can see that we have a list of unit multipliers that we're going to use. So all of these things are equal to one another. So 1 meter is equal to 1.0936 yards. So these two things are equal to one another. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, and so on as we go down through here. So you can see that we have a lot of different unit multipliers, and this just skims the surface of all of them that are possible. We could have lots of unit multipliers that we could look up, but these are the ones that we're going to use. You just have to know how to use these. You do not have to memorize them. And if we look at things like this 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet, which is equal to 1.6093 kilometers, or this one under mass, or this one under pressure, or this one under volume. All of these things are equal to one another. So 1 mile is equal to 1.6093 kilometers. 1 gallon is equal to 8 pints. 4 quarts is 8 pints. 4 quarts is 3.7854 liters. So they're all equal to one another. So we're going to be using this to convert using dimensional analysis. So these are the steps that we're going to go through when we do this. So these really are not going to make a lot of sense until we start using them. So we're going to write down what is given. And when we write our numbers, they are always going to have a unit attached to them. We never leave our numbers without a unit. We're going to find a unit multiplier that includes the units of the given and what we're looking for. We're going to write a plan if needed. We might not have something that goes directly from what we're given and what we want, so we might have to have something to go in between the two. We then set up a little chart that we're going to use, and then these we'll talk about here in a second. With respect to significant figures, all of our unit multipliers we're going to treat like exact numbers. So however many significant figures are in the number that we're given, that's going to be how many significant figures our answer should have. So let's go through an example problem. And we'll split this video into a couple segments. So if we have 2.50 kilometers and we want to change it into miles, we write down what's given, 2.50 kilometers. That's our first step. Now we're going to go to our purple sheet and we're going to look for a unit multiplier if there is one between kilometers and miles. So if we look, we actually have two that are possible, and it doesn't matter which one we pick, they're both going to give us the same answer. We have this one right here, and we have 1 mile is 1.6093 kilometers. Doesn't matter which one we use. I'm going to pick this one. 1 mile is equal to 1.6093 kilometers. So my plan is to go from kilometers to miles using 1 mile is equal to 1.6093 kilometers. So I'm going to set up the unit multiplier so that given units cross out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a little chart here. This is a one-step conversion. So I want these units of kilometers to cross out. So I have kilometers here. I have 1.6093 in my unit multiplier. So that number is going to go in the bottom. The other part of the unit multiplier is going to go on the top. It says multiply the numbers across and divide the numbers down. These two numbers are across from each other. So we take 2.50 times 1. We really don't have to do that because we know it's going to be 2.50. But then we divide by anything that's in the bottom. It's like having two fractions here. If you want to think of this like 2.50 kilometers over 1 times 1 mile over 1.6093 kilometers, that's really what we're doing. So our kilometers cross out just like they would here if something's in a numerator and something's in the denominator. So we're going to take 2.50 divided by 1.6093 in our calculator. 2.50 divided by 1.6093, and that gives us this big long number. 1.553470453. But since these are measurements, we're going to use significant figures. This right here has 3 significant figures. So that's how many our answer should have. And when we calculate that and look and round, we end up with 1.55 miles. We have to make sure that we have units on everything so we know that we set it up correctly and that we have the correct unit at the end. If you didn't put this in, you might have this number up on top because you didn't know where to put it. The units tell us where to put it. Whatever unit we have here, it needs to go down here. Video 2 is going to go over a few more example problems.